Hello, students. We left off talking about why Othello is so quick to believe Iago and doubt his wife, and go on this terrible course of action. And one of the main reasons is because of this handkerchief that Iago manipulates to his advantage. So let's pick up there with this handkerchief. We are first introduced to it at the end of scene 3. And we find out here that this handkerchief is not just any old piece of cloth. It's something special. It was Othello's first gift to Desdemona. So that makes it a sign of their love. It was the first present he gave her to show her his affection. So it symbolizes their love for one another. It symbolizes their feelings. And we see at the very top of 141, that Iago is going to use this. So Amelia steals it for him. His wife steals it for him and gives it to him. The top of 141, Iago says, "I will in Cassio's lodging lose this napkin and let him find it." So he's going to plant this hanky in Cassio's room. Trifles light as air are to the jealous confirmation strong as proofs of holy writ. This may do something. The more already changes with my poison. Dangerous conceits are in their natures poisons, which at the first are scarce founded distaste, but with a little act upon the blood, burn like the mines of sulfur. So he's saying here that trifles, this handkerchief, it's just a trifle. It's a small thing. It's seemingly nothing. It's seemingly meaningless. It's just a piece of cloth, right? But this seemingly meaningless piece of cloth are to the jealous confirmation strong as proofs of holy writ, right? So he compares this handkerchief is going to be like the Bible, right? It's going to be like a sacred text in that it is going to completely convince Othello of this truth Iago's trying to lead him to. So Iago's basically saying here, Othello is already primed to believe that she is false. So this will be enough to convince him. And throughout this play, Othello's persuasion has been compared to poison. Iago's persuasion has been compared to a poison. He is corrupting Othello. Like a poison, he is altering, changing, diseasing Othello. And he talks about how this will burn like the mines of sulfur. So not only is what he says like poison, but these mines of sulfur also bring up this connection to Iago being like the devil, Iago being something evil. When we think of mines of sulfur, we think of hell. And Iago, through the poison of his words, is creating this living hell for Othello. And we see that. Enter Othello. Look where he comes. Not poppy, nor mandragora, nor all the drowsy syrups of the world shall ever medicine thee to that sweet sleep which thou owest yesterday. So Othello is just completely consumed now. He can't even sleep. It's all he can think of is this possibility that his wife is cheating on him. He says, "What sense had I of her stolen hours of lust? I saw it not, thought it not, it harmed not me. I slept the next night well, fed well, and was free and merry. I found not Cassio's kisses on her lips. He that is robbed, not wanting what is stolen, let him not know it, and he's not robbed at all." It's all Othello can think of now. He thinks constantly that she is with Cassio, that she has kissed Cassio, that she has spent time with Cassio, and he cannot think of anything else. And so this leads him to issue an ultimatum to Iago. Remember, Othello is a man of action. He cannot stand this position he's in of doubt. He tells Iago from the get-go, I'm not one who gives in to jealousy. Once I doubt, I will then be sure, I won't be jealous, I will be certain, and I will act on my certainty. So he can't handle this questioning. So he says, villain, and he's referring here to Iago. He's so angry at Iago for planting this idea in his head that now he's calling him a villain. Be sure thou prove my love a whore. Be sure of it. So he's basically saying here, listen, if you cannot prove that Desdemona has cheated, I'm going to make you pay for putting this idea in my head. He says, give me the ocular proof. And this is so important here, guys. He needs the ocular proof, he says. And ocular means to see. He needs to see that she is cheating. Again, he is not one to doubt. He's not one to just become consumed by jealousy. Now that the idea is in his head, he needs to be convinced. He needs to see it. He says, or by the worth of mine eternal soul, thou hast better been born a dog than answer my wicked wrath. He's like, listen, you put the idea in my head. You need to either prove it with something that I can see, or you're going to wish you were born a dog, because I am going to bring some hurt down on you. All right, so Iago now is charged with showing Othello that his wife is cheating, giving him visible proof that they're having an affair, which, let's be honest here, is impossible because they're not actually cheating. So Iago has to somehow manipulate this situation to make Othello think he has seen them together. And this is where the handkerchief comes in. So let's skip down here to 145. Iago knows that he can't actually give Othello ocular proof. So he has to get around this demand that Iago show Othello visible proof. So he says here on line 450, and may, but how, right? How am I going to give you ocular proof? How can I show you? He says, how satisfied, my lord, would you, the supervisor, grossly gape on, behold her topped? So he's basically saying, how can I show you? Do you want to watch them having sex? Othello says, death and damnation, right? Obviously, this is not something he wants to see. He doesn't want to actually see his wife having sex with another man, but he wants proof that it's happening if it really is happening. So this creates an issue, right? Iago says, it were a tedious difficulty, I think, to bring them to that prospect. Damn them then, if ever mortal eyes do see them bolster more than their own. What then? So, right, he's basically pointing out here to Othello, having true ocular proof is really difficult. It would be really difficult to actually catch them in the act. And it's not something you really want to see. So he says, how then? What shall I say? Where's satisfaction? If I can't show them actually having sex, what is going to convince you? So he's already gotten out of the difficulty of showing them together. Because remember, Iago can't do this. They're not actually together. So now he's introduced the potential to create a proxy, right? To create a another way of showing Othello they're together without actually showing them together. So he says at the very top of 147, but yet I say, if imputation and strong circumstances which lead directly to the door of truth will give you satisfaction, you might have it. So since you can't have real ocular proof, you must rely on the next best thing, right? The next best thing is circumstances, imputation, right? Circumstantial evidence. If you can't actually see them together, then I will show you proof that they've been together. And so, on page 147, from line 467 through line 500, this is where Iago gives him the quote-unquote ocular proof, right? His first ocular proof right here. He says, I lay with Cassio lately. Remember, these are soldiers, right? So they share the same barracks together. And being troubled with a raging tooth, I could not sleep. There are kind of men so loose of soul that in their sleep they mutter their affairs. One of this kind is Cassio. In sleep I heard him say, "Sweet Desdemona, let us be wary, let us hide our loves." And then, sir, would he grip and wring my hand, cry, "Oh, sweet creature," then kiss me hard, as if he plucked up kisses by the roots that grew upon my lips, then laid his leg over my thigh, and sighed and kissed, and then cried, "Cursed fate that gave thee to the Moor." So his proof here is a dream he overheard Cassio having, in which Cassio was kissing Desdemona and saying that they had to hide their love, and saying that he was upset that she chose the Moor. Othello says, "Oh, monstrous, monstrous," right? Iago says, "Nay, this was but a dream." Okay, this is very true. This is not good evidence. But look at Othello's reaction. He is being convinced by the circumstantial evidence because he knows he can't have true ocular proof. But Iago needs something stronger, right? So Iago then introduces the handkerchief. Remember, he's already stolen it. He's already planning to plant it in Cassio's room. He says, right here, "Have you not sometimes seen a handkerchief spotted with strawberries in your wife's hand?" Othello says, "I gave her such a one. 'Twas my first gift." Iago says, "I know not that, but such a handkerchief, I am sure it was your wife's, did I today see Cassio wipe his beard with. If it be that, or any that was hers, it speaks against her with other proofs." So basically, his second piece of proof is Cassio has your wife's hanky, right? And with all these other things, this makes a case against her. And notice how Othello reacts to this. He says, "Oh, that the slave had 40,000 lives. One is too poor, too weak for my revenge. Now I do see 'tis true." So the slave that he's referring to here is Cassio, and how he wants to kill him, right? If he had 40,000 lives, it wouldn't be enough to slack my thirst for revenge. And it's very ironic that he says here, "Now do I see 'tis true." Remember, he started this by saying, "I want ocular proof. I want to see beyond a shadow of a doubt that my wife has been false." Has Iago actually given him ocular proof? No. But yet he's manipulated it in such a way that Othello thinks he has seen the truth through these pieces of circumstantial evidence. And so he says, "Look here, Iago, all my fond love, thus do I blow to heaven, 'tis gone. Arise, black vengeance from hollow hell." So remember, way back when he said, if I think she's false, I'm done. If she is cheating on me, my love will turn to hate. And we see that is indeed the case. He says, since she's cheating, my love will now be hate. And again, we see this connection here between Iago being like a devil figure. He has raised hell in Othello. He has corrupted heaven that was once Othello's love and created a hell. Just like the devil, just like Satan in the Garden of Eden, he has corrupted heaven through love and turned it into this hell on earth. And so Othello says here, like to the Pontic sea, whose icy current and compulsive course never feels retiring ebb, but keeps due on, right? Just like the sea that never turns back. Even so, my bloody thoughts with violent pace shall never look back, never ebb to humble love. So he's done, right? No more love for him. He's not turning back to love. He is now only going to hate. Remember, this is a general. This is a man who is used to committing to action and seeing it through. And so part of it is it's his personality. It's in his nature. And so he says that he's giving this sacred vow. He's engaging his words. And notice, Iago joins him. Iago says, "Witness you ever burning lights above, you elements that clip us round about. Witness here that Iago doth give up the execution of his wit, hands, heart, to wronged Othello's service." So Iago and Othello take a vow together. And they're vowing to get revenge on Desdemona and Cassio. And again, we see here this perversion. Rather than Othello being true to his vows to his wife, they're being perverted. He is now going to give this vow of revenge and hate. And who is perverting it? This character who's become like a devil in the play, Iago. So they make a plan here for what they're going to do. And a big reason why is because of this handkerchief. So let's learn a little more about why this handkerchief is so special. We're going to get into this some more in scene 4 in our next video.